was really, and but early. Oh, yeah, yeah.
All right, welcome back, everybody. I'd like to call this meeting of the Madison Board of Education Finance Committee special meeting to order. It is about 6:34. We have a short agenda, but fairly significant. And with us, we have Dr. Cook and Finance Director Stacy Novitz. And we are going to talk about or discuss a Canon copier lease. And then a recommendation regarding reserve funds for special ed. So with that, the first item on the agenda is to discuss the terms of the copier lease. And as always, I will defer to Stacy.
Okay. So, we're going out, obviously, for the copiers throughout the district as well as for the town. So when we did our pricing, it's off the state bid list, so we didn't have to go out to bid or do an RFP for it. But when we went to do the prices, it is with Canon, the interest rate, we lease these copiers. It's a routine thing. We do it every 5 years. We can own them at the end. In fact, we took a year off and we owned them for a year, and now we're ready to get brand new ones again. But when we went with Canon, the agreement that they offered us was a 9.6% interest rate. Yeah, which is crazy. So the town is currently not only part of the copiers, they're also purchasing some vehicles. So we thought, why not just bundle it all together? And what we do on the town side, or for any lease Board of Ed too, we call around and get 3 different rates. So in your packet, you should have the different rates that we got. We did end up with a 4.6 versus 9.6.
Yes.
And then the annual payment that this would amount to is within budget, it's budgeted. And we're ready to go. The Board of Selectmen and Board of Finance did already approve the entire lease. We were just waiting on this piece so that we can execute it and get all the equipment.
Thank you, Dr. Cook. Do you have any comments or perspectives?
No, it just as Stacy said, we've had a continuing relationship with Canon. They are on the state bid, so that's where we get the pricing from, and the price is pretty low. It's within Art's budget. Okay, great.
I mean, is there like a service agreement that's included in this?
It's click charges.
Okay.
So we were able to lock in at a very similar rate to what we're in right now. That was in existence for a long time. So yeah, as we use it, it's like 0.003 blah cents a copy. So, which is good because we try not to print as much as we used to.
Does that include the color copies that?
It's a different rate for black and white versus color, but yeah, we have a set fee for the quick charges.
Has there been a big decrease that you've seen as the Chromebooks, the one-to-one Chromebook program, like kids are doing more work on their computers? Have you seen that?
I really wouldn't be able to speak to that. I don't know the history on what we've paid. Like, I know we paid about 21,000 last year for quick charges, but I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, what it was a few years ago.
Yeah.
But I would hope, like, even with us, in finance, when we try to pay more ACH or EFT, so we're not printing out checks. And with email and stuff, we don't have to send hard copies.
So much less paper, I feel like.
Yeah.
In the classroom.
Yeah, but I don't really have that.
That's okay. No, I was just curious, thinking out loud. What about supplies? Like toner, is that included?
That's what the click charges pay.
That's what that is?
Yes,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Didn't realize that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and then the buyout for that,
It's $1.
it's $1.
The capital lease. And do we have to take any formal action on this as a committee to forward it to the?
No, it's already on the,
It's already in the budget. The budget's been approved. It's just informational.
Yes.
Okay. All right, well, there's number 1 down. Let's say anybody has questions.
I mean, you don't necessarily have to take action. If you could decide as a committee to take action if you want to have a committee official recommendation to the rest of the board, but you can also just.
That just included in the report.
Yeah.
Right.
Doesn't
Because
seem like it needs to.
Fair enough. Okay, and then, our second item is to discuss a recommendation to request the Board of Finance increase the special ed. Reserve fund by using funds returned by the Board of Education at the close of the 22-23 fiscal year. And I think this is well, I'm not going to editorialize, but we're here to discuss it, and conditions have changed somewhat, so maybe Dr. Cook.
Happy to speak to that, and Stacy can help me out as well. So for a number of years, it's been set at $300,000 for the special ed reserve fund. And as the board's aware that, you know, special ed costs go up typically every year, the outplacement costs go up in the neighborhood of 2 to 3%. So that could represent maybe a student and a half, 2 students new to the district could utilize that 300,000 if that was unexpected from year to year. What we are looking to do is one step with those rates. So I think that there is a argument to be made about the $200,000 keeping up with kind of the cost of the times, but also this year, as I shared with the board, we're starting the year up in a hole due to legislative action that allows 22-year-olds in our extended program to stay till the end of that school year. So it used to be that students were aged out when they turned 21. And then that was extended to the 22nd birthday, and now it's extended again to the end of that school year. So Liz has those calculated exactly. That we had a few students that would have aged out in September and October. They would then stay with us through the end of that June year, and so the cost of that is $128,000. You know, to start this school year off. So, you know, obviously, typically we end in a positive light, but it's not often that we start the year off in a negative situation in special ed, because we do our best to schedule, you know, to budget, you know, the transportation costs, the tuition costs, the staffing costs as best we can. So that's what we were looking at. So I think that helps with that argument. The town has looked favorably. You know, we don't want to go to the town each and every year on this type of manner, but they did look favorably last year when we did this for the armed security. So, you know, the board of the town was very gracious to us when they allowed us to start that and then put that in our budget, and that would be similar path that we would do. Although hopefully this is continuing on, you know, that we can start next year off with $500,000 in that account.
And our best estimate of the funds that will return this year are $223,000 into the fiscal year. Right,
Yeah.
to decide that money.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you also speak to the regulation? There's a percentage limit. I forget what it is.
It's 2% of the entire budget.
Right.
So this and the facilities is the 2 accounts that would be looked at under that 2%, so it'd still be under the 2%. It moved from 1% to 2%, maybe about 5 years ago,
Yeah.
4 or 5 years ago.
And what's the balance in there now? Is it 2?
It's actually 350.
Yeah, I thought it was 350.
Yeah, and I do have like history if you wanna.
Yeah.
Talk about printing paper. It's before the new copiers.
Yeah.
When you use up the toner in the current.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you.
Oh, this is really helpful. Yeah, so if you do decide to request it, it would be the Board of Ed vote, and then it would have to go to both boards, and if it is under the 250 now, it no longer requires a town meeting, which people would.
Right.
Mhm.
So,
Did we not move any money out of this fund? I
We-
remember discussing it, like 40,000.
we did not have to.
We didn't
no,
have
we
to.
can't, no, they were end of the year,
Right.
it was line
It's like-
transfers that went to Galen.
Yeah.
Day, actually.
I can show you.
Yeah.
I think it was, well,
What were we talking? Was it 40,000?
There was an additional 40
Yeah.
that we did end up doing from our last meeting. Over and above. I believe we did 60 and then 40.
And so we would hope to, well, we could. We'd hope to move this to the full board no later than the September 19th meeting. Or
So how does that work for your time frame?
I think I would prefer until once the audit is complete, and they're usually not done until October, November.
Okay,
So we can just, keep it out there and then we can bring it to the boards. I don't think there's a rush to get it
Okay,
in there as long as we all know that that's our plan.
okay.
okay. I see it was established in November 2009. Does that pretty much stay with how it had handled in the past? No, some of that has before you.
You mean, what do you mean?
It's, the fund was established in November 2009, so it usually was October, November when that.
Oh, sure.
took
Yeah,
place in the past, yeah.
that's probably when it all came about, yeah.
Okay,
Okay, so we can study it a bit. And then bring it to the full board. Yeah, late October. Go with that.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
What, I do have a question. What's the impact of the kindergarten age on special ed, if any? And that doesn't take effect until,
it's 2024.
right,
We're gonna talk about that a little bit tonight. That's a great question, because what could happen with that is our own preschool program.
right,
And if we keep students in our own preschool program and not allow September, October, or December babies that we're planning on going forward, to go forward, then we would overcrowd and
Yeah.
potentially have to add another classroom with another teacher, para, in that program now. We are trending that way eventually anyway, that's similar to other districts, but, that could be that impact, because we're responsible once the student turns 3. Figure out that law has to change, so that, I think that would be the impact that I would see.
So in effect, we are allowed to maintain the funds in Board of Ed accounts. Even beyond, I know that we settle up at the end of the fiscal year, but it's really a couple of months after, because we have to wait for bills to come in. And then you finalize all that with the chair of the finance committee. How long are we allowed to hold the funds before they have to go back to the town or be submitted to a?
Yeah, so it just automatically happens, the balance is there, just like, it's funny, even though the Board of Ed is 2/3 of the total budget, it's just like any other department. Whatever's left just gets returned to fund balance, and at any point in time. We can do this with the rationale that it was based on what was unspent from the year before.
So it's accounting, it's not an actual fund.
Right.
That we're holding money.
Right, the end of the year funds, yeah, the balance is right. It's
Yeah.
a department that just gets returned to travel fund balance.
Yeah.
It's more of an accounting.
does this special ed reserve fund, is that a special account, or is that, it is?
Yes,
That's
it
what
has its own
okay,
fund. yeah.
that's its own.
I think it makes a great deal of sense. So we'll sit on and study it, we'll read the board. Well, I'll report it tonight. The committee reports. We'll revisit it.
What is what is the actual budget for special ed, and then 2% of that would be what,
It's 2% of the whole
Whole
budget.
of the whole budget?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, that you can actually reserve,
Yes.
okay,
1.2 billion.
And it's not specifically for special ed.
Right.
It's for any.
it's for any.
This
yeah.
one is the 2% is that boards could have a general, they could have a general 2% that you could use to pay for.
Yeah.
Ball fields or something like that, but in Madison, we've done facilities in special ed, which. I think are certainly good places to do that, and that probably was the comfort level of the town at the time, I'm assuming. So you are the board.
I didn't pat myself on the back, but. Yeah, I'm the guy who started this.
So what's in facilities then? What's the reserve?
It's the planned cycle maintenance that we budget every year is about 360, I think, 359. So that would be part of that. Because technically Board of Eds are not allowed to carry over reserve funds,
Right,
but this 2% is allowed by going through the process through the town board.
Yeah. And do we think 200,000 is enough? I
So
hate to
we're
ask that,
only
but you want
finished
to,
deposit 222, so I think it's, it's an appropriate move. I think always would. Especially given the volatility of special ed would always want, more, but I think it's a good move. And seeing here that the town has a history of, if anytime we did use it, we were able to replenish
Yeah.
it the next year, so.
Excellent facts, excellent questions. Are there any, so I'll call this to close, are there any public questions, nobody online? Right, well, thank you, with that, we'll adjourn this meeting at 6:50. Thank you very much.
thank you.
Thank you.